What if your greatest power was the words you never said? Silence is misunderstood. Most people see quiet people as weak, passive, afraid. They think if you don't argue, you have nothing to say. If you don't defend yourself, you must be guilty. If you don't react, you must not care. They're wrong. The people who speak the least are often the ones who understand the most, because silence is not emptiness. Silence is control, and control is the foundation of real power. Watch how people behave when they're uncomfortable. They talk, they over-explain, they fill every gap with words, with excuses, with noise, because silence makes them anxious, because they need constant feedback to feel safe. Weak people react to everything. They argue, defend themselves, and constantly try to prove who they are. Strong people don't. They understand something most people never learn. Power does not come from speaking louder. It comes from needing less validation. Think about the most intimidating person in any room. It's never the loudest one. It's the person who stays calm while everyone else fights for attention. The one who watches more than they speak. Because silence creates mystery, and mystery creates psychological power. People fear what they cannot read. When someone talks too much, you understand them immediately. Their emotions become visible. Their insecurities become obvious. Their need for approval becomes clear. But quiet people reveal very little, and because of that, others project strength onto them. Silence also gives you something extremely dangerous in human interaction: observation. While everyone else is busy talking, emotional people expose themselves. Their anger, their jealousy, their desperation, their ego. But the silent person notices everything: tone of voice, facial expressions, weakness hidden behind arrogance, insecurity hidden behind confidence. That's why calm people often seem one step ahead. They spend less time reacting and more time understanding. And understanding people is one of the greatest forms of power. Silence becomes even more powerful during conflict. Most people cannot tolerate tension. The moment something feels uncomfortable, they rush to explain themselves, fill the silence with words, and in doing so, lose control. Because the first person who loses emotional control usually loses psychological control too. Silence forces the other person to sit with uncertainty, and uncertainty makes people nervous. It shifts pressure onto them. Suddenly, they begin overthinking. They start explaining more than necessary. They expose the emotions they wanted to hide. Meanwhile, the calm person gains leverage simply by remaining composed. This is why strong people rarely react immediately. They pause. They think. They choose their words carefully. Because impulsive reactions are expensive. One emotional sentence can destroy respect, relationships, or opportunities in seconds. Silence protects you from your own emotions. But silence does not mean fear. There is a difference between silence from insecurity and silence from confidence. Weak silence comes from fear of judgment. Strong silence comes from self-control. Confident people don't feel the need to prove themselves every second. They don't chase the last word in every argument. They don't explain their value to people who refuse to see it. They understand that real strength is quiet. And maybe that's why the most dangerous people are often the calmest ones, not because they lack emotions, but because they have learned how to control them. In the end, silence is more than the absence of words. It is awareness, discipline, observation, emotional control, And in a world where everyone is trying to be heard, the person who masters silence often becomes the most powerful person in the room. The quietest choice you'll ever make might be your most powerful one.